When Tom entered the room, his mom didn't recognize him because he had grown hair and beard. He looked totally different. She invited me to dinner, but it was 2 years since I to her house, so I lost my way. بصوا يا جماعة، لو لقيتوا eats بعدها period كده وsince، خد بعد since present past simple. يعني since يجي بعدها past simple لو قبلها it's و period. طب دي it was و period، يبقى since يجي بعدها ايه؟ past perfect. يبقى since I اهي had gone. The swimmer seemed to be in difficulty, but he to reach the shore. Seemed to be, but he managed. The police catch the New York bumper اللي في عمل قنبلة. The headline of the newspaper. Was when Mrs. Stone to her flat, she saw the call for her mother on the answering machine. هي رجعت الفلات وبعد كده شافت المكالمة، يبقى when Mrs. Stone number 1 الأكشن الأولاني إنها رجعت شقتها، والتاني شافت الكول ف returned. When we, the first, it was getting darker. When we arrived. When she arrived home last night, she realized that Joan, a beautiful candlelit dinner for her, was preparing. When the article arrived, the editor read the first sentence and then refused to publish it. It's a nice day, therefore we went swimming. It was. When he here as a cheater, she complained him to the master. When he called her. Ever since 1905, when Einstein, his special theory of relativity, the speed of light has had a special status in the mind of physicists. When Einstein, his special theory of relativity, نظرية النسبية, the speed of light has led, revealed. It was only after she had learned English that she to make friends. It was only after she had learned English that she started. Jack was talking with his parents this evening when his girlfriend telephoned to let him know that she with someone got engaged أو had engaged. جاك كان بيكلم باباه، خاطب جيرل فريند بتاعته كلمته قالت له انا اتخطبت لواحد تاني، اكيد الخطوبه دي الاكشن الاول. When she arrived at the theater, Jack was really angry. لما وصلت المسرح جاك كان angry جدا because he for her for more than an hour was waiting. By the time Richard retired from the army, بمجرد انه تقاعد من الجيش, he involved in 3 separate riots. He was. By the time we finished our preparation for the Congress, most of the participants arrived at the hall. The Bastille prison, سجن الباستيل في فرنسا, where many important people at one time imprisoned, is today visited by tourists. where many people were although he not having the talent necessary to become a violinist, he would be continuing practicing with great determination. Although he had admitted, ولا would admit, ولا will have admitted, ولا admitted not having the talent necessarily to become a violinist, he would be continuing practicing with great determination. Admitted. By the time the English team at the summit, both the Japanese and the Dutch teams had climbed up the Himalayas. Arrived. Last night when I was having dinner, my mom called. Iba was making his family to Singapore when he was 3. Then they moved back again when he started high school. Then they moved back, يبقى had moved. After running for half an hour, she suddenly to check her watch. Stopped. I stopped smoking 3 years ago. Before that, I, for over a decade, have been smoking. عشان ذكر period of time. Decade يعني 10 years. Living in a foreign country, strange at first, but we got used to it. Was. In our history lesson yesterday, my friend and I were talking to each other and we didn't pay attention. I saw him sitting on the sofa. He was tired because he had worked too much. The cup finals when you arrived. I was watching. During the Middle Ages, they often down witches and burned them. Hunted. I lit the fire at 6 in the morning, and when Peter came in, it was burning brightly. My brother was playing with his model cars when the lights went out. After I came to the zoo, we went for a walk in the park. After I took him. Have you ever drunk vodka? Yes, I eat when I was in Moscow. I tried it. What do you think about the last book? I liked it a lot. The boys were working in the garden when they their father's steps heard. What were you doing yesterday afternoon? I, on my new novel, was taking, had worked. دي المفروض was working. Lucy was playing the guitar when someone opened the window. My sister was already waiting for me when I arrived. He something when suddenly the headmaster entered the class, was writing. After they had reached the top of the hill, they took a break. The Romans wrote some of which still exist today. The Romans built We a nice film on TV last night, but I don't remember its name. We saw. He told us that he on a cruise trip before. He told us that he has never been. He told us had never been. While Frank was reading the newspaper, Jill breakfast. Prepared, had never been, has prepared. The master punished the pupils as they trouble a week before. The master punished the pupils as they caused trouble a week before. Had caused. I in the garden in the whole day yesterday was working. I tried to call you last night, but you didn't pick up the phone. When the rumor, الشائعات, had already spread throughout the village. When I spoke, when Mom into the room, she saw that her son was smoking. Came. Before he left for the United States, he had sold all his belongings to a shop. Do you read newspapers, digital or printed version? طبعا طالما في or هناخد either. What do you think is the of newspapers in society today? Role. A newspaper has small pages and large photos. It uses short stories. Small paper, large photos. The tabloid. Tabloid newspapers use simple language and large headlines. Newspaper is more formal newspaper with large pages. More formal large pages than broadsheet. Articles in broadsheet newspapers are more and use larger sentences and paragraphs. Articles في broadsheet newspapers are more factual. I read an on the environmental issues in the newspapers article. Broadsheet newspapers have fewer photos than tabloid ones. Can you summarize the difference between tabloid newspapers and broadsheet ones? A plane skidded off. The accident was a scary experience. None of the passengers or the plane's crew. The plane's nose was close to the water's edge. Have you ever an accident like that? Experience it. I work as for a national newspaper reporter. In an official, the minister formally announced his registration or resignation. Official statement. خطاب رسمي. There is a large area of rock with very steep side del cliff. منحدر صخري. According to the recent news reports, many of the roads went along cliffs. They were so dangerous that he felt to death, scared to death. The manager told us to evacuate Nukhli building. The police have closed the train station because there has been an incident. There have been temperatures in North America, freezing temperature. Scientists hope to develop an that uses solar energy aircraft. I didn't like that film. It was interesting, nice, surprising, terrifying. Look, they are into the water to catch fish. plunging. اوعى تكون خدتها swimming. All the children denied eating. الverb deny لازم يجي بعديها ing. Is a strong adjective meaning extremely frightened, terrifying. Is an event, especially one that is unusual, important, or violent incident. To be is to be frightened of something, scared. To is to make someone believe something that is not true by false, mislead. To is to say something that is true through it hasn't been proved, claim, يدعي. To ask for something in a very strict and serious way, demand. Is someone who behaves in a dishonest way in order to get something, cheat. Is when someone illegally copies and sells work, piracy. Is to completely spoil something, ruin. To be is an extreme adjective meaning very surprised and upset. Shocked is to happen or exist in a particular place or a situation, occur. Waiting with bated breath. The police that 3 criminals took part in the robbery claimed. A terrible accident occurred. He used his mobile to help him in the test. He was accused of being a cheat. The workers at the factory better pay. Claimed better pay, demanded. طالبوا better pay. Downloading music from some websites on the internet without paying is piracy. All this mud is going to ruin your shoes. The parents were deeply by the death of their only daughter, shocked. He waited for the reply to his offer with bated breath. Is a strong feeling in favor of or against one group of people or one side, bias, انحياز. He's a successful businessman. He succeeds in making an enormous fortune. What are the middle paragraph of the essay called body paragraph? The writer tries to make the reader adopt his point of view in a persuasive essay. I'll complain to my neighbors, the noise of the children. From. My mother always complains of, عشان ده disease, severe headache. It was very cold in winter. I didn't have a coat and I was freezing. The news story about the match missed out the injured players, so it was biased by omission. When you want to introduce an opposite opinion when you are writing, you say, on the other hand. At the top of a tabloid newspaper story, there is usually photo. When writing in a formal report, you should use passive form. Technical difficulties due to he wasn't vaccinated. Consequently, مما ترتب على ذلك, he caught the disease. All the passengers on board. On seeing the snake coming, the child scared to death. Important finds. عشان have. اوعى تكون اخدتها monument ولا discovery. كاتبة it has. راس محمد is one of the most important nature reserves. محمية طبيعية اسمها كده على بعض. We can use a clay to make pottery. The important finds were dug. A huge ship called Ever Given blocked. This newspaper doesn't give point of view. Balance it. I once used to read. What were you doing? When I was doing, I went. Yesterday evening we were revising. My mother made me a cake. It tasted. لأن التيست واحد من الفايف senses. Here we see we taste we smell we touch ودول كلهم ما بياخدوش ing. After Mona had played the piano she helped. هنا ما فيش gap. Ahmed didn't do any revision last night. Did he? بجيب أحمد هنا اللي هو he و didn't تبقى did عشان لو هي negative بعملها positive بعملها negative. ده ال question tag. My stay during عشان ده long action. What were you doing? Long action. My mother used to tidy my room but now she doesn't. Past habit. At the age of 7 my parents took me. He a prize for a drawing of an animal was given. عشان هو هنا subject. الجملة هنا هو هنا مش subject object. الجملة passive هو أعطي جائزة. Was where will be the formal passive في past simple. Someone phoned me while I was cooking. While my car was being mended. While my mother was doing the washing up, the baby sister was being looked after. برضو الجملة دي passive. الجملة دي passive. العربية بتتصلح مش بتصلح. هنا بقى on my arrival عشان ده short action. He need much sleep but he does now. Didn't used to. While playing football, while finishing one story, he was thinking. When I was young, I football with my friends every day. Played, past habit. Why are you still in bed? It's the time you got. It's time, past simple. Have you met the manager yet? Delia has practiced her hobby for a long time. Reham has visited London recently. They have gone. لا they have been. عشان دلوقتي بقى في كايرو يعني راحوا جم. She for work already has left. Have you eaten all these bananas already? طبعا ده سؤال بيتعجب فيه. Samir and Nagy have been friends. اوعى تاخدها have gone friends راحوا صحاب دول أصبحوا أصدقاء. I've known him since we joined. Noah has already cleaned. Adil has graduated from university since. We have lived in Cairo since we married. The manager has met many people since he arrived. It's 5 hours. بص هنا eats يبقى مش eat was يبقى since she has come. He 3 sandwiches up till now has eaten. This tree has grown. They in Luxor since 2015 have lived. I can't phone my parents because I have lost. Nawel hasn't studied the present yet. The plane I can see it in the sky has just left. My uncle lived abroad. 5 has lived abroad since 5 years ago. Hella can't play tennis because she has hurt. Basil is not hungry because he has eaten. بعد كده we can't go home by bus because the last bus has left. Hamid's hair is wet because he has had. Radwa doesn't know what flying is like as she has never flown. What have you never done? اللي عمرك ما عملته نفسك تعمله. How long have you studied English for? Since when? منذ متى? I have never eaten shrimps before. When is your father? My father has gone. بعد كده since then منذ ذلك الوقت. My sister married last week. She had been engaged. ده first action. نجيب محفوظ has written عشان ما عنديش specific time. During her sleep عشان ده long action. I him for a few days. A few days ago if I saw him. Did you used to play? I once used to read. My last email was sent. I to the museum in 2015 went. هو one action started and finished in the past has no effect on the present will leave specific time in the past. When she was 7, this film was directed. At the age of 7 my parents took me to Jordan. كده احنا خلصنا أول جزء حاجة يونت 1. هشرح لكم يونت 2 و 3 بالانسرز في بقية الفيديو. السلام عليكم.